In gh-dash, you define sections in a YAML file, and you can specify like this section is specifically for gh-dash, and I can easily see like which PRs are waiting for my review.
I have a question. Does this replace LazyGit or does it add to LazyGit? I'm confused there. I honestly don't want to go down the next rabbit hole. How has that been?
Yeah, I can totally get it, but it's not an immediate like benefit like moving to Neovim. I think it's more like if you're interested in the technology, and this is the README for my dotfiles, and you can see images render just fine. If I want to look at like repos that are interesting to me, I don't want to type them over and over again. I just save them here.
All right, so I'm asking everywhere, where can I find people to interview, right? Like if people have a GitHub repo and stuff like that, to reach out to me. And some folks do, right? So one day I'm just wandering around in GitHub, right? And I find this repo, gh-dash, and I was like, I kind of recognize this username. I think I've seen this guy in Discord. I went to Discord and I noticed that it was you. And this is 8,000 stars. So why didn't you reach out, man?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, all the developer stuff Discords. So when a new one opened, I just joined yours immediately because there's not a ton of content for, Tmux, Neovim, all that matrix of tooling. I guess I don't like to, I see it as bragging, or I don't know why, some psychology thing. I don't know why I didn't reach out.
Yeah. Because I was like, if you guys have any repo that is above 500 stars, just reach out.
I didn't see it. Yeah.
You didn't see it? Yeah. I'm asking in the Neovim subreddit, and I'm asking everywhere. And it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed your other videos. So glad to be on one.
Yeah. Yeah. And which ones do you watch the most? Neovim related stuff?
Yeah, I have a backlog to watch the other ones because they are interesting as well. But the one with Maria was very interesting, as she has like insights into Neovim itself, like contributing to it. And everything Tmux, Neovim, even being exposed to other stuff like Emacs and what was it, Alfred? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's just harass you here for a little while. Let's stalk you in social networks and all that stuff. So I see that this is your website. Your name is Dolev, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So I see that this is your blog post. You have some articles in there. This is your GitHub profile, the repos you have. This one has 8,000 stars. Where is it? Here, gh-dash. So if there's people wondering what we're doing today, we're covering this, basically. Demoing this, get to know it more, how to use it, all that stuff, and get to know Dolev a lot more, right? So I also noticed you have a YouTube channel. You don't have too many videos there. These are really old. Are there plans to continue on YouTube?
Not really. If there's like a particular topic that I'm very interested in, and I think a video of it would do a better job than a blog post, I might create another one, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. So you want to share something about yourself, like who you are?
Yeah, so I live in Tel Aviv, Israel, married, I'm 35 years old. In terms of jobs, I've been to big companies like Facebook and Wix, And for the past 4 years, I've tried startups. So I'm at my second startup now called Port. And yeah, full stack developer. Basically, I like to do everything.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. And let's see. The tool that we're going to be looking at today. What is that about? Like, you mind sharing a little bit more about it?
Yeah, the story behind it is that basically, when I worked at Facebook, we had an internal tool for pretty much anything. And one of the tools was called Fabricator. I think it's actually not built by Facebook. I think it's an external tool. And basically what it had is like different sections for PRs. So you can easily see like what PR you need to review, what are your PRs that are waiting on others, and you can configure these sections how you'd like. And when I left Facebook and joined Wix, basically Wix has a repo for everything. If in Facebook it's like a mono repo for everything, in Wix it's like polyrepo. It's like a repo for every different package. And it was hard for me to track which PRs I have open, how should I merge them, in which order, and given reviews was like, I needed to ask someone, like, or you needed someone to send you the PR to review. You couldn't do it proactively because it was all over the place. So I basically want to recreate what Facebook did. And actually there's like a startup that of ex-Facebookers who created a product around the whole experience. And it's actually, I think, quite popular. But if you look at it, it's very similar to how it was on Facebook.
Interesting. Okay. And do you personally use your tool still?
Yeah, I use it all the time. Yeah, if I didn't use it, I think it would be much harder for me to keep developing, to keep working on it. But since I have so many stuff like I personally want, then it's a lot easier to implement them.
Oh, okay. Let me just update the topic here. Okay. So I have some questions about the tool. Do you want to give us a quick demo? I don't know if there's stuff that you cannot show, or do you have like environments?
Oh yeah, I can just right, let me see. Yeah, this one has private PRs. Yeah, I can just share this one. Yeah, this screen.
Yep.
It's just
you ready?
PRs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, this is gh-dash. It's basically composed of different tabs. So in GitHub, you have like basically 4 tabs, and you can control which PRs are shown on which tab. You have like my PR, PRs that I need to review, and some and other another 2. In gh-dash, you define sections in a YAML file, in the config file of gh-dash, and you can specify like this section is specifically for gh-dash, and I can easily see like which PRs are waiting for my review. The review tab and my tab have like PRs that are related to my job, so I won't show them, but you can imagine this has different PRs. Like these are PRs from projects I'm interested in, or stuff like that. And basically my goal is to not go into GitHub, basically because it's slow, it's not very keyboard friendly as opposed to like a terminal UI. And you can do a bunch of different stuff on every PR. And it's all a single key press away. Like if I do D, then it's gonna diff. And I can easily see what's the PR about. I can approve, assign, comment, all this stuff. And I can like define custom keybinds For example, G is LazyGit. So I can easily like press G, then I'm in LazyGit, press Q, I'm back in gh-dash. And there's like support for issues as well. I don't use that as much. I did it more for the community because we don't use issues at work. But I sometimes I look at issues for my project, and I can easily like figure out if I want to fix some of them.
So you can see the issues there as well.
Yeah.
And can you see discussions as well?
No.
Okay.
Some stuff
So
I want to add in the future are like, I think the most missing feature is around, for me, around checkruns. Like I can see that my repo doesn't have any checks, but if it had, then it would have listed them here, but you can't see the output of a job. So then I have to press O to open the PR and go to the checks tab to actually see like why my job failed. But I want to integrate it into gh-dash. Yeah.
But for now, I can see the list of checks that are being executed, and if they passed or if they didn't pass. Is that right?
Right here. This is a PR from Neovim, and you can see here these ones have failed. This one passed. And you can see like the summary, just like in GitHub. Yeah.
Wonderful. So
and then the other tabs are like activity, which are comments, and files changed, which is just a summary of the changes. And then you can press D. You can always press D and see like the changes. Yeah.
The diff view. Okay. And you can also comment if someone leaves a comment there. You can comment stuff in that.
Right, I can comment and write something. I'm from Tel Aviv or something, and then press Ctrl+D to submit it. And then if I go to activity, I can see it. But you can't comment like on a specific comment that someone left on your changes. It's always global comments. Yeah.
But you could, I see. Not like in a thread, like you can...
Not in a thread, yeah.
But you can put a comment, right, globally in the pull request, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you can approve a PR if you press V, for me, I think. Then you can leave an approval comment. That's another type of comment that I support. Okay.
Can you merge after your PR has been approved by a coworker, for example? Can you merge from here?
Yeah, you can merge. It's M by default, and then it asks you if you like to squash. Like it basically uses the gh-CLI, the GitHub CLI under the hood, and it starts it in a different process, and then GitHub asks you a bunch of questions if you want to squash, if you want to merge, and then that's basically the flow.
And I have a question. Does this replace LazyGit or does it add to LazyGit? I'm confused there.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's a companion to LazyGit because LazyGit is really good at managing your local work, committing and rebasing and creating branches and stuff like that. So I do still use LazyGit, but then LazyGit doesn't really have any connection to GitHub. So I can't see if this branch is actually something that I have a PR open for or not. What's the status of it? And I wish LazyGit had this integration, but LazyGit is only for Git, and my tool is basically only for GitHub. So they're working together. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And are there plans to expand your tool to do more stuff with Git or just...
Yeah, I actually have a design, I think. This is how it looks. But I think it's too much work, and LazyGit is a really great tool. But what I wanted it to have is basically a view of branches, but that also shows you if it's a PR, this is this little icon, or if it's just a commit, a branch on your local machine.
Mhm.
And if it's a PR, I'd like to see like the review status and the check status. And then it's very similar to LazyGit, and then you'd have a panel for your changes, and you can still switch. Like I initially thought of it as having like a separate tab for Git, and then the regular gh- like a GitHub pull requests tab. But yeah, LazyGit is a really complex project, and it's working really great. So I don't know if I have like the required amount of motivation to write something big like this, but
Yeah.
for now, it's sufficient for me to just press G and be in LazyGit and then Q. But it's still a little bit annoying that I can't see like which branch is which PR.
I see. So if LazyGit would integrate with the GitHub CLI, could probably retrieve this information and show it to you in LazyGit, right?
Yeah, right. I actually commented on one issue in LazyGit with like a solution how he could fetch all the pull requests that are linked to a branch you have locally, so you won't have to like basically do a big network request. So I suggested some efficient way to do it, but I haven't worked on it other than that. Yeah.
Okay. I noticed a message there at the bottom that said fetching something. Does this automatically pull every X amount of minutes, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically you have like a config file. Yeah. You have a config file, and then you can see, I think it's auto refetchIntervalMinutes. So mine is set to refetch every 10 minutes, and also it refetches when you focus gh-dash. So if I switch to the gh-dash application or for my browser, for example, it also refreshes.
Okay. When the focus is gained, right? It refreshes. Okay. Now, is this gh- a Neovim plugin, or is it a TUI, a tool on its own?
So it's actually a tool of its own, but it's like a GitHub CLI plugin. So you have to have gh installed. All the authentication is done through the GitHub CLI, and a lot of the commands are calling the gh CLI. So yeah, it's you can install it. You can install it standalone, but probably some missing functionality. Yeah.
Okay. So my question was more towards Neovim. Can I run it from within Neovim, or I have to switch to another Tmux window and open it there? How do you use? How do you use it?
Yeah, actually, so I'm using it as like basically I press Command G, and it opens gh-dash.
And what are we looking at? Is this Tmux, and is that a new window, or?
Yeah, exactly. This is Tmux, and when I press Command G, I have a key binding for it. It opens gh-dash in a new window, and then I usually, if I want to switch back to Neovim, I usually have a key bind to go to the last session, so then I can switch between them.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Have you seen? Yeah. I don't know how Folky does it, but where is it? If I type here Alt G, I don't know what this is. I don't know the exact way that he does it, but he brings up LazyGit. I don't know if this is like I don't know.
Yeah, I actually saw a plugin. I think it's a plugin for Neovim, what you just showed me. So a couple of days ago, actually, like last week, someone created a plugin for gh-dash, so you can open it inside Neovim. And I think what Folky does is just basically put it full screen.
Yep.
But yeah, there's also an option to do that now.
And is this plugin developed by someone else? Have you tested it? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I actually haven't, because I usually separate my Neovim from other tools. I usually open a new window in Tmux. But I haven't tested it. I think he mentioned there's some issues with conflicting keybinds between Neovim and gh-dash, but yeah, whoever uses it will need to check it out. Yeah,
we'll figure it out. Okay,
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So is there something else you want to demo about gh-dash before we get to know you a little bit more? Because I see that you use Tmux, Neovim, you're in macOS, so I just want to talk about all that stuff. Anything else you would like to, or you know what? Let me just go through the docs real quick, and I'm just going to be asking you questions if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So, because this is what a new user is going to go through, right? So see the doc side, yeah. Okay. So I just went through the docs a little bit, not a lot, right? So first install the GitHub CLI, right? So you leave a link to the installation instructions. I'm in macOS, so basically just run this. Install it. Then you also mentioned right now that this is a GitHub extension. I didn't even know that they had extensions. So this is why this command is there, right? So it's extension install and your extension.
Exactly. I think there's a subcommand to browse all the available extensions. So you can check out other extensions. Pretty cool.
Let's see.
I think run gh extension and then dash help.
Extension help. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and then browse is the subcommand.
Browse. I didn't know they had extensions. And I guess.
And then execute it.
Let's see. So is it like a marketplace then? Like.
Basically, yeah, I think they're looking for a tag on your repo that says it's a gh extension. And then they sort it by stars or something here.
Yeah, because yours is at the top, right?
Yeah, there's not a ton of extensions, but there are a few that are useful.
I don't know, has GitHub reached out and mentioned something about your extensions? Is it so popular?
Not really. They once contributed because they made a breaking change in GH in the CLI. So they contributed the fix for it. So it was pretty nice. But other than that, no.
So they definitely use it. The developers in GitHub definitely use your tool. Yeah.
I think there's definitely one or two employees. The GitHub is a huge company. I bet there's someone that uses it. Yeah, but they are aware of it because they've contributed.
Interesting. So let's see. Let me go back here. Once you install the extension, the icons to render properly, just have a nerd font, which is what we usually have. If you use Neovim, you have this already, right?
Exactly.
Nothing special. Yeah. Okay. This, I guess, is just a different way of doing it if you want to clone the repo. So that's it. This is all that is needed to install it.
Yeah. The real magic comes from the configuration. Neovim is also easy to install, but then you need to configure it, and it's a whole another story.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, but that gives people a better idea on what to do, right? So I guess everything is documented here. I have not. I think I installed it, yeah, but I have not configured it. I will play around with it, and if I have other questions, I'll let you know. I will probably create a video about it, and all that stuff. Yep. Anything else you want to share here from the documentation or stuff that people ask all the time that would help you not to be answering the same question all the time?
Yeah, there's actually a really good video that Charm made. Charm is the library that, like, a company that wrote a bunch of libraries for developing terminal UIs, and they made a video about gh-dash. So if you want to understand like why you should use it, how it can help you, and also how to actually use it, then this video is a great. It's actually linked in my README. It's pretty
This
recent,
one?
so it's, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So this helps a lot if you're just getting started.
Yeah, if you just want to get to know what gh-dash is and why to use it without even installing it, and then maybe it piques your interest and you install it later. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So we already went through the demo. If it replaces LazyGit, that's a question that I had. And it's not. We already shared about you as well, where people can find you. I'm going to leave all of those links there. And you mind sharing a little bit more about the experience of maintaining open source? Because it's a pretty popular repo. How has it been?
Yeah, I think first of all, you learn a lot about areas that you don't touch in your regular work. Like I haven't wrote a lot of GitHub actions, and I haven't dealt with publishing stuff to Homebrew or releasing assets to GitHub. So all of that is like novel knowledge. And then there are, I guess it depends really on the owner of the repo, because I take it super chill. Like if I don't feel like working on it, I don't work on it for a few weeks. I know a lot of people work on open source projects that a lot of companies depend on. Then it's a whole different story, because they need to fix urgent bugs. They need to basically be on call for their project. But this is like a side project that aims to like give a better experience on top of GitHub. It's not something that can break people's workflows. And then I received a few contributions along the way, like the documentation site that you just saw. Someone actually contributed the whole thing. It was like 20,000 lines or something. I guess because of the framework they used, but they wrote a ton of content for the documentation, and I try to maintain it ever since. And I think support for theming was also contributed. So you don't all have to use my specific colors.
You can specify, because I have a set of colors that I use, so I can specify them in the configuration file.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a YAML, and then you specify a bunch of different main text, secondary text, a bunch of colors. Yeah, or it fallbacks to your terminal colors if you didn't specify something.
Oh, yeah. I apply the
So
colors.
it might work out of the box. I don't know.
Yeah, because I apply the colors in Ghostty as well, so it will pick them up.
Yeah.
I don't need to touch it then.
Yeah, maybe you need to tweak some stuff, then you can always override it.
Okay. And how?
So
how
yeah,
has
it's
the
really
support?
fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the support aspect of it, how has it been? Too many issues, discussions?
Yeah, so I'm not super responsive on issues. I do use it every day, so I know there aren't any major bugs, and if there are, I usually try to deal with them pretty quickly. I do like when someone comes out of the blue, creates a detailed issue with what he wants, and then I usually comment that sounds great, because I usually don't block a lot of feature requests. And then if he works on a PR, that's awesome. Yeah, it doesn't require really long discussions on technical details or something. It's usually pretty features in my project are pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what if a user comes up with a new idea and they want to implement it? What would you recommend? Would you recommend for them to start a discussion first, or just submit the code? And what do you suggest there?
So for their own sake, I'd recommend opening an issue first, because you might work on the code and then I'm going to say, this is too niche of a use case. I don't want every user to get this basically as a bloat, because it fits your workflow. So I usually try to generalize the solution in the issue, so it fits all users. Or implement some kind of plugin mechanism, like I did for the custom commands. So you can basically define key bindings to run arbitrary commands, and then this gives like a solution for specific users' needs. They don't have to touch any of the gh- code, and they can use their own workflows however they want. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So just to save you like the trouble of writing the code and then getting rejected if it's too niche, I suggest to open an issue first. Yeah.
Okay, great. Have you had bad experiences with users? Have you gotten into fights in GitHub?
No, I don't. Yeah, no. I've heard of like GitHub discussions that turned to be pretty heated, but no.
No? Okay.
Didn't happen to me.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, that covers all of the questions that I had about, open source basically. So when you showed the demo, I noticed that you used Neovim. Is that your main editor?
Yeah, I use Neovim as my main editor.
And why is that?
Because it's basically, it started like as a rabbit hole. I started having pain in my arm like every programmer, and then I started heavily using VS Code key bindings, but it wasn't enough basically. Sometimes I needed like to reach the file explorer, or it wasn't really a native experience for keyboard users. It a lot of features rely heavily on the mouse, basically.
Yep.
And yeah, then I swallowed the Pyramiden pill, like many others.
So that's how you got started.
Yeah, and then I've dug a hole deeper and deeper. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of there. And for how long have you been using Neovim?
I think for 3 years, something like that.
Oh, 3 years, that's a lot of time. And you use your own config or a distro?
Yeah, I use my own config. I started back when I think there was LunarVim or something and AstroVim, but I started on my own. And then I've been maintaining and improving it along the years.
What are your thoughts on distributions?
Yeah, they look great, but I require like too much. I wanted to tweak it too much, and then distributions usually get in your way. But I haven't fully tried like LazyVim or something like that to honestly tell you if it's hard to customize. But having your own distribution gives you full control, basically.
Yeah, that is correct. Yep. And is your Neovim config, because it looks quite good. Your setup looks really awesome, to be honest. Do you have it in your dotfiles, or is that private?
Yeah, I have like a repo for my dotfiles. It's in my GitHub, and Neovim is inside. Basically, it's under nix module and then nvim. This is my entire config.
So you use nix-darwin, is that right?
Yeah, I bit the bullet on that as well. Not too long ago. Yeah.
How long ago?
I think it's like 6 months ago.
Man,
yeah.
How has that been? Because everyone keeps telling me to try either Linux, that I should move to Linux, or that I should use Nix. And I'm like, oh no, I honestly don't want to go down the next rabbit hole. How has that been?
Yeah, I can totally get it, but it's not an immediate like benefit like moving to Neovim. I think it's more like if you're interested in the technology and also willing to like configure in Nix to learn stuff, then it's great. But it's not like I'm replacing laptops every 2 weeks or I have like 3 different machines. So that's not the reason. If you do have like 3 different machines and you want them all configured the same, or if you're like using Nix for your job, or yeah, like I'm using something in my job that uses Nix under the hood, then it's nice to know how it works. But I don't think it's a better developer experience than using something like what's it called, Stow, or one of the more standard tools.
Yeah,
but
Gemois,
it's pretty cool, yeah. But Nix is pretty cool. I think it has a lot of potential for tools to be built on top of it, and like the tools I use for my job, for my day job, it uses Nix, are pretty awesome. But yeah, it's another rabbit hole. If you're bored from Neovim one day, then just open the Nix docs and start digging your grave.
And do you recommend Nix? Honestly, would you recommend it? Like for someone like me, if I need to deploy a new Mac, I even create a video, right? So I have bash scripts. That's what I use, and I install everything, all my applications with brew files, right? So install all of them, set up all the macOS system settings in the bash script as well, even the hot corners, everything in that script. Would it make sense, or would you recommend it?
I don't think I would recommend it. If you have like a setup that works for you already and it uses like scripts, I think it's the most simple way to manage your environment. If you're switching laptops every 5-6 years, then it's totally an overkill to use Nix. It's like I don't know what to compare it to, like learning Kubernetes on your own. If you don't use Kubernetes at your day job, then you probably don't need it. I think it's similar for me in Nix.
But for the learning experience, it's good, especially if you use it at work, right? So you would benefit from that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the main benefit for me, because I use a single laptop. I don't really need Nix. Nix is an overkill for me. But it made my move, like I switched jobs, I think 4 months ago, and it was a single install. But I guess you can achieve that with script as well. It's not a must to use Nix.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, good to know. I noticed that the file explorer that you use in Neovim is mini.files. Is that right, or I'm wrong there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mini.files.
I didn't know that you could have relative line numbers in mini.files. Is that built in or something you came up with yourself?
I think I did configure it. I don't know if I did it here or exactly here. I created a note command that whenever the window is updated, I apply these options. Yeah.
Interesting. So if you type that number, it'll jump directly to that file and open it, or how do you do it?
So I use relative line numbers a lot. So if I want to go to dressing.lua, and then I can just press 25K, and I'm there, and then I use L to open it and Q to close mini.files. So it's pretty smooth.
I never used relative line numbers. I even disabled them, and I just left them as, regular line numbers. And it looks horrible. There are some files in which I have like 4,000 lines. Let me show you one. Let's see, like my keymaps. Keymaps.lua file. Look at that.
How many keybinds do you have?
Oh, I have have a lot of crazy stuff going on there, man. But look at this. Look at the Hadar, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna type 4 digits relative number.
Yeah, but I disabled relative line numbers. I never use them. What I'm trying to use more is flash, right? So jump using flash, but I don't know. I just don't use it, you know? I never got used to it. I just got used to doing this, or Control U, Control D. I know it's not a good practice. How do you navigate around? Do you use relative line numbers a lot? Did you get used to them?
Yeah, I also didn't start out using relative line numbers. For the longest time, I just do the J and K or Control D, Control U. But I found myself also, like, I did a lot of exploration. If I wanted to jump to this word text, so I have a couple of options, and I think one of them is flash, which tries to solve both navigating horizontally and vertically. But now what I usually do is, like, I can see it's 8 lines down, so I do 8J, and then I usually do FS or a bunch of Ws. Yeah, basically spam W. I didn't find all the jump plugins to work for me as well. I didn't find that it like this relative line numbers is more simple, I guess, to use.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on how you have your numbers laid out, because I don't use layouts on my keyboard. I don't know if you're able to see it there. Let me switch to this other one. My numbers are there at the top, so I cannot reach them properly.
Yeah, I guess I can show, if you can see, like, my numbers are basically these 3 rows. So if I toggle a layer, these are my numbers. So it's this layer, and then I can just 1, 2, 3, like
an
super
numpad.
quickly. Yeah, like an numpad, super quickly type numbers. So it's pretty. Yeah, you have to have the right setup for relative line numbers to work. Yeah.
Yep. Now that you showed, and mini.files. Let's just go back there, and then we can talk about your keyboard. So
yeah, so I actually started with I think it was nvim 3, and I found that it wasn't really working for me in terms of, like, going up a directory, going down a directory, or basically I saw other people use oil.nvim, which is a similar plugin, and I was kind of jealous, but I didn't want to use oil because it was too far away from a regular file tree. It was harder to see, like mini.files shows you, like, the full path of the files. Like oil.nvim is like just a single directory. Yeah. And I think mini.files is like basically best of both worlds. It's similar to nvim 3 in that it's almost like a file explorer, but it has, like, the functionality of treating your files like lines in a buffer kind of way, that you can delete lines or move files by deleting the line and pasting it in another folder. So yeah, it's a pretty cool plugin. Yeah.
And I noticed, just like Maria, that you have the preview disabled. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think I found it too distracting. Basically, I usually don't look at the preview, even if in my, like, smart picker of Snacks, the Snacks plugin, I disabled the preview.
Okay.
But not in all the views. Like in my buffers view, I do use the preview to see what line I had it opened on, like, basically.
Okay, interesting. So you use mini.files. Your picker is Snacks, right? So
yeah,
I noticed that you don't have. Oh yeah, you do have tabs at the top. Are those tabs Yep.
The top is my Tmux. No, I don't
Okay.
usually do tabs, but sometimes I like my tabs show up at the bottom here. If I open like my diffview plugin, then it opens in a new tab. So I use tabs very rarely, but yeah, same for splits. I don't usually use splits in Neovim.
Okay. Yeah. Me neither. I don't use them too much. Tabs, I don't use them. How do you navigate files then with the snacks picker, the buffer thingy, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I use the smart picker a lot. I use the buffers thingy. I also have like a kind of like harpoon kind of plugin. I don't remember its name exactly, but you can basically mark files and then jump to them pretty quickly, and you can delete them like a regular buffer or move them around. So if I work on like a feature that requires like 5 different files, I usually reach out to this plugin, because the smart picker doesn't always suggest like the most relevant file that I need to jump to.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so
but that
this
is
is
not
basically my
harpoon.
workflow. No, I think it's called not smart open. What is it called? See, reticle? No.
Oh, smear cursor. That's why I see the animations there in Neovim, right? Is that the plugin?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's me.
Because I noticed you're using Ghostty, and I think it doesn't have those animations. Not sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I saw Kitty introduce it a while ago, and it's pretty cool. It really helps. Like, I don't use it for the cool effect. I use it for seeing where my cursor came from, basically. So it's really good for that. I tried the other plugins like smooth scrolling and stuff like that to not have the scrolling be so abrupt, but it was too slow for me. Like, I like the instance, the way that it's instant, but I also like to see a little bit of where I jumped from. Yeah.
Yeah, I opened LazyGit one day, and my cursor was like, I don't know, really slow, and I was like, "What's happening here?" I don't know. And Folky made a change, and I don't know what plugin it was that it enabled, but I do get that the cursor slow for me was like, no, because you can see the cursor moving slowly. No, was too slow for me.
Exactly. I try to configure it to be as fast as possible, but it's not really. I really wish terminals supported smooth scrolling, but it's not really smooth scrolling because you can't achieve that in Neovim. But yeah, I do envy the smoothness of scrolling in like a proper GUI app.
Oh, or in Neovim. Neovim
yeah.
is a little bit better, I think. Do you use Neovim or no?
No, but I'm thinking of integrating it because I recently moved my notes to from Obsidian to Neovim because of the editing experience, and I'm thinking of maybe using a separate app for my notes. So Neovim sounds like a great option. Yeah.
Oh, so it will be like your dedicated app for notes.
Exactly.
Interesting. I'd like to know more about that. The notes. Why did you switch from Obsidian to Neovim?
Basically, I found the Vim integration to be too slow. Like, it moves and it's kind of laggy, and not all the keybinds work that I'm used to. Like, I'm used to pressing leader to switch to my alternate buffer. And even making these relative line numbers work was really a pain. I had to configure a CSS rule for each line. So I made like 100 of them. So if there's more than 100, there's probably not more than 100 relative lines in this screen, but it's gonna break.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then, you know, the other amenities of like my smart picker and it's more tuned to my workflow.
Yeah, once you're used to Neovim, switching to Obsidian feels like I'm not going. I don't expect to offend anyone, but it doesn't feel too optimized for a Neovim user. That's what I'm gonna go with, right? Because I do like using the surround motions a lot, right? So GS stuff or select around quotes and all that, or delete around quotes. I couldn't do it in Obsidian. Maybe there's a plugin, you know, but it felt too different. I needed to look for workarounds in Obsidian that I had in Neovim, so I just decided to also switch my nodes fully to Neovim. Do you view images in Neovim, or you don't in your nodes?
Yeah, I do. This is the README for my dotfiles, and you can see images render just fine. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like I tried other plugins before Folky wrote snacks.image, and they often broke, but this one works perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. The what is the other one called? Image.nvim. Man, yep. I used them for
Third.
Yeah, by Third. I used that one for a long time. Worked wonderfully, but I don't know. Snacks image to me feels more stable, and so far it has been working great.
Yeah, I didn't have to configure it too much or play around with it, but I do remember like Third.image, this one required a lot of configuration to make it work. I don't really remember. I think I copied some of your stuff to delete the images and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
But snacks.image, this is my configuration.
Yeah.
And it just works.
And if you open a picker, you can just view the images there. You can even preview PDF files or videos. It shows you the image of a video. So it's, I mean, works just great. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the color scheme that you're using?
I'm a Tokenite user. So Folky all the way.
Okay. Looks quite cool. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And let's see. The tool that you use to push to version control, we already know you use LazyGit most of the times, right?
Exactly. I just command G and then usually G afterwards to go into LazyGit. And basically this is what I do. Go between gh- and LazyGit.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. And Tmux. Why Tmux?
Wow, Tmux is a love story. No, I love Tmux. Basically, I think before all the terminal emulators had proper tabs and windows and stuff like that, I started using Tmux. And then I actually found myself going through a lot of terminals. So I tried Kitty and Westterm and iTerm in the long distance past. And Tmux always enabled me to maintain my workflow. It's like the same in every terminal that I use. And I find it like a pretty awesome experience. And you can customize it. I customize it a ton. Like I don't use the prefix of Tmux. I use command keybinds by using my
you do the send keys thing there, or
yeah. So I use Ghostty, and Ghostty has, I think a lot of the terminals has these keybinds stuff. So basically, it sends the text. This is my prefix key. And then like to close the tab, it's X afterwards. So this is Control A basically, and then it sends X to fire off the relevant Tmux command to close the tab. Yeah, it works great. Like even like switching between tabs, I have it bound to command and then the number, like in the browser where you go through
Okay.
tabs.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a keybind for everything pretty much.
Man, your dotfiles, I'm gonna be a scavenger there because pretty sure I'm gonna be able to find a lot of useful information. And don't even doubt that the people in Discord is gonna be all over your dotfiles. Like Mtiful and Why So Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are professional scavengers, so they'll go in there and just copy everything and then call it their own.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah.
And how do you do that in Tmux? In Tmux, did you configure something special for the for these keys? You mind showing
Yeah,
your
so
Tmux config?
sometimes they need to like work in tandem together. So I bound like G to open. I don't use this one. I think I use gh-dash. Yeah, so Command Shift G is basically opening gh-dash. So I had to configure it here and then also in
Ghostty.
in Ghostty, exactly.
So Ghostty
So
sends the capital G, right? And then you pick that in Tmux.
yeah,
That's what you have.
Ghostty sends the prefix of Tmux, which is Control-A, and then capital G, and then Tmux has it bound to capital G, to prefix capital G, and then it executes it. Yeah.
I think I needed to do something. Let's see. I think I did something similar a few days ago. Here's my ghosty config. Where is it? Oh no. Yep. I was trying to do Ctrl+enter, but I couldn't, right? Because Ghostly sends these characters when I do Ctrl+enter. I couldn't pick up that in Neovim because I wanted to do this. Let me show you here. There's something in Emacs. Where is it? Test Markdown. I wanted to create another heading. If I'm here, right, I don't want to go to the section below because I have headings here, right, inside. So I just wanted to hit Ctrl+enter and for it to create another heading so I can start typing, right? Yeah. So I had to come up because if I didn't do this, what I usually did is go here, go all the way here, and then create the heading here. And it's just too slow, right? So with this Ctrl+enter thing that I did, where is it? Just gonna delete this in Tmux. Where is it? Enter this one. Yep. So Ctrl+enter sends this, and it works quite well in Neovim. It was pretty simple, but it took me a while to figure it out because Ghosty was sending this, and I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure out. I think actually I use Kitty for figuring out like what keys. I think it has like keyton, if you know what it means. I don't know. Yeah, show key. Exactly. And then if you press Ctrl+enter, I don't know why it's not working, but I don't have it installed properly. But if you run this on your machine and then you type whatever you want, it actually shows you like the keys that you pressed, like their codes.
Oh, you can do that with cat actually. If you do, let's try it and let's see. I have it documented here somewhere. Where is it? Let's see if it works on your side. I just want to see, but I have it in my dotfiles. So this is the way that I did it. Yep. So let me just close out of here. I don't know why it does not find cat if I run it without bin at the beginning. So I just had to run.
I have to do it as well because I have a fish abbreviation for cat that makes it, that changes it to bat.
That could
be
like
why. The fancy cat.
Yeah. That could be why. You're right. Yep. So it works with this by running it like this, shows you the keys. But I think I do have that as well. Let me see. Oh, I just not fixed my CHRC file because I had a single file. Now I have a lot of different files, but I think I have it in, where could it be? Here. This is why I like mini.files, the preview, because it gives me an idea like, could be in this file. I wish I could scroll here, but it's not possible. I asked Snobsky if that would be possible, but no, it's not possible at all.
Yeah.
Where did I store that? Man, I don't remember, but it's somewhere in my .files. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I tried running bin/bin/cat and then pressing Ctrl+enter, but I don't see anything. Like if I press another key, I do see it. Oh, this is
weird.
Ctrl+V.
Oh, okay. So it works for some of them.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Ctrl+enter, I think, is like a special key that terminal emulators don't really like. I think there's some kind of... There's a few keys that terminal emulators don't like, yeah.
Yeah, it took me like 2 hours to try to figure that out, you know? I was like, but I want to use... Because Emacs does that, right? So in Emacs, you press Ctrl+enter, and that is the key that creates a new heading below. I was like, but I want to do it the same way, because if I ever switch to Emacs, I don't want to do things differently there. What are your thoughts on Emacs? Have you seen
I understand that you're eyeing Tmux, maybe.
Huh?
Yeah. You're eyeing Tmux to maybe switch to it someday. These are the vibes I'm getting, yeah.
Not fully switch to Emacs, you know, but I think it's interesting if you do it for your notes, for example, because I like taking a lot of notes. That's my thing. I'm on the infrastructure side of things. I like taking notes, not because I like notes. It's because I know myself and I will not remember stuff in 3 months, right? So I don't want to go through documentation again because it takes time, right? If I have it in my notes, 2 minutes, and I just refresh my memory and I can do it quite fast. But that's the reason why I do notes. And I think Emacs is not a bad idea for your notes and organizing your stuff, like the calendar and all that stuff. The Zettelkasten method, I could probably use Zettelkasten there because I had a call with Dina. He was a huge Neovim user that moved to
I
Emacs.
watched that, yeah.
How did you feel?
No, I think honestly Emacs is a better software for writing notes because internal emulators, you don't have variable font sizes, and I think like text hierarchy really helps with the readability of notes. And then you can always like, I hear the integration of like Neovim inside Emacs is pretty good. So I can totally understand why. If you're mainly a writer, I think it's probably a better experience. But for coding, I think Neovim does the job really well.
Yeah. And I always think like, why one? Why not the two, right? I mean, it's double configuration. You need to configure both of them and maintain both of them, which is more work, but it's two different tools that you can use for two different purposes, right? If I ever decide to code, of course, I'm going to be using Neovim, but for my notes and all that stuff, I could probably use Emacs. So I don't know. I'm just thinking about it and we'll see.
Yeah, depends on how hard it is to maintain the configuration, because you probably know yourself and you probably need to customize it exactly to your liking. So yeah,
that is the reason that I haven't opened Emacs, because I know that once I open it, it's just not gonna stop, and it's just gonna be like 2-3 months of tweaking it to my liking. I don't want to go through that. And cool. So going back to Tmux, then what else do you use Tmux for? So you use it to switch between windows. You said that you don't use panes too much. What about sessions? Do you use sessions?
Yeah, I actually use Sesh by Josh Madesky, who was on your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that to, if I need to navigate to some session that isn't my last one, because for my last one, I have a key binding to switch between the last two sessions, and also the last two windows in the same session. So I usually rely heavily on that, but if I need to go something further in the past, like I use Command K, I have it bound to Command K, and yeah, it's pretty smooth. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
each session,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add that like I if I have more than two windows in the same session, I use the numbers like in the browser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So each session that you have, is it a GitHub repo? Is it? Yeah. It's
Exactly.
basically
Yeah, it's a GitHub repo, and then I usually have like a window for my shell, a window for Neovim, and then a window for my build process or gh-dash or stuff like that. And then I just jump between them. I like my stuff to be full screen. Basically, I have one monitor. It runs one application that's at the front, and then I usually look at one window, because if it's too many, like if I open panes and stuff, I find it usually is a distraction for me. It's very hard for me to focus on one task.
I agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. We have a very similar workflow, to be honest. Yep. And do you have keys for the sessions that you use the most? Like, let's say that you need to go to, I don't know, gh- to the project itself, and you're working on it a lot. Do you have a key for it, or do you use sesh?
Yeah, no, I don't have keys. I usually use Sesh for that. Yeah, if I'm at work, I usually work on one session because it's a monorepo. If I work on gh-dash, I usually just use that session. So I don't find myself switching too many sessions. I do like if I'm gonna work on my notes inside Neovim and not Obsidian, then I would have to find a solution for it, because I would probably want to have a single keybind. Just like I'm going between my browser and my terminal, I want to have like a keybind for my notes, and then I might use Neovide, so it has like a separate keybind. I did like see your solution of using like chords, I think, and that's also a possible solution, like a prefix and then a key.
Oh, okay. Of using what you said?
Chords? Are they called? I don't know.
Yep. Hyper sublayers, right? Hyper sublayers. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So, yep. That's how I basically switch the scenes here. And that's how I basically navigate my entire setup, right? So notes, dotfiles, home directory, blog post, scenes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need to switch. So I'm already used to all of that.
Yeah, I think if you cross a certain threshold of keybinds, then you have to go for a solution like that. But I like the way that it's instant. If you just press a single key and not have to wait to press the prefix first. Like this is how I made my Tmux thing work. I just press Command T. I don't have to press a sublayer to open it, so I can spam it, and it's easier for me. But people use Tmux with prefix. Like I think this is the most common way people use Tmux. So I guess it's just a matter of like getting used to. But if I'm gonna run out of key maps, it's gonna be a
sublayer. Yeah. I don't like the prefix. I did try it for some time, but it's like you have to press the prefix and then another key. No, I don't like it at all. And this feels, you mentioned like a chord, right? So I never just lift my fingers, right? So hyper A, just leave them pressed, and then K for my browser, right? Or
okay.
J for my terminal. So it feels like a single key map, right? It's a key map of 3 keys, basically, right? Because we're used to key maps of 2 keys, right? Control A or whatever. But this is, well, no, Command Shift A. It's something like that. You know, it's similar to any other key map of 3 keys, right? So
I figure it's probably a lot better than what I imagined, because I imagined you pressing the prefix, lifting your fingers, and then there's this small delay that I hate.
No.
And
No. I would hate that. I would definitely hate that. But it's like any other key map in which you press 3 keys, right? So I'm going to switch to the guest scene right now in OBS. So it's hyper O. That I remember that, right? O is for OBS, and G is to see the guests, right? So notice that I'm leaving pressed hyper O right now, and then I tap G.
No, this like looks awesome. Yeah, this looks awesome. I do have I have Command Shift Y for my snippets. So if I press Command Shift Y, it's 3 keys. So it's probably the same experience.
Yep, basically. Exactly the same experience. And the good thing is that you can specify where those keys are, right? Because if I want to type Command Shift, look at this, my left hand, Command Shift A, that sucks. My fingers are in a weird position. But here, my hyper is here on my thumb. So hyper, and then I just have my 4 fingers, and I have a lot of combinations, right? So
you basically have the key maps on separate hands, and then you can
some
easily
of them,
reach the
and I just remember A is for applications, right? So hyper A, this is for the terminal, which is what I use the most, browser and YouTube and stuff like that, right? Or OBS or Tmux. If I want to switch to my Tmux sessions, is hyper T, right? So hyper T, this or this or this, right? So that's how I use sublayers.
I use option as my prefix for applications. So my terminal is actually option I, because I started up in iTerm, and it stayed that way.
But the problem is that then you run out of keys, right? It'll get to a point in which you're like, I cannot introduce new key maps, or I have to get really creative because I basically used all of them already. With sublayers, man, you have I don't think anyone actually uses all the sublayers. No, you have a lot of options.
No, I think your setup is like the next level that I'm gonna reach at some point.
Use it and let me know. Everyone tells me it's over-engineered, but the first days it's like complicated because you're not used to it. But once you get used to it, man, you can do everything basically
maybe
with a single key
the
map.
next app that I'm gonna install and need to use, maybe I'll put it in a sublayer and then see if I can easily launch just that app, and then gradually move over.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Look at this one. I even have this hyper S for system and T for tasks. I just needed to come up with something, right? And it shows me like a list of scripts that I can run. Like these scripts, I need to run them from time to time. Like this Yabai one, I need to run it every time Yabai updates, right? I could do it automatically, but I just do it on my own. Or if I need to switch this in OBS. So, man, I don't know.
I think you actually saved like a couple $100 because you don't need to buy like the Elgato streaming device. You just have
that is correct.
All your key maps in your keyboard.
That is correct. I don't need to buy any additional device. I can manage OBS with my keyboard pretty, pretty simple way. And I have a video about it too. I just explained all of that in a video. If someone is interested in doing it, they're just going to go in and check that there. So let's talk about the OS. Notice that you're using macOS. And want to share on that? Why macOS and why not Linux?
I think it's the classic story. I started out on Windows because I wanted to game, and then my first job gave me a Mac. And it can do everything basically in terms of like being a Unix system. So it has a normal shell. So for a developer like me, it works perfectly. Yeah, regarding Linux, I think that like I would want to try Linux someday because you can customize it even further, and even something like Nix works better on Linux, and it's also like my values about supporting like Linux and this cool company called the Framework that develops laptops that are easy to upgrade, and it fits my whole repairability stuff like that, fits my values. So I think I'm going to try it one day, but I think the downside of switching to something like that is that the performance of Mac is really good. So if my job brings me $5,000 laptop, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I got started with Mac OS as well. My previous job, hey, you need to use a Mac. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. They were Intel based Macs back then.
Yeah.
They got hot. They were not good, right? But
oh yeah, the fan went crazy. Now it's really quiet. Yeah, it's a really good machine.
Yeah, the hardware is wonderful. And what are your thoughts on Windows?
I do like what they've done like in the last couple of years with the WSL, but the fact that it's not natively Unix based basically leaves it to niches like word processing and video editing or gaming. And for developers, it's really not very well suited. Yeah.
I always wonder how the world would be if Microsoft would still have the Unix variant that they had at the beginning, right? Because they had this Xenix operating system and it was Unix based, but then they decided to go with their DOS thing, and it just went downhill from there. So I don't know.
It's like a tech debt, I guess. It's like, the Americans use the imperial system, right? I think it's called, and not the metric system, and it causes a lot of confusion around the world. And I think that even a rocket once, like one of the Apollo missions, I think crashed because of an error converting between the units. And I think I see Windows in the same way. Like if it had been Unix, it'd probably make a lot of stuff easier. Then yeah, I guess the alternative future is would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they regret it? Because now they're bringing Unix to Windows with WSL, right? And every developer that I know that uses Windows, if it's not developing for Windows, of course, because if you are, you're going to use Windows and all its apps and all that stuff. But most of the people that I talk to is like, yeah, I use Windows, but with WSL. So you're basically not using Windows. You're using Linux there, right? So I don't know how Microsoft feels about that decision. Do they feel like, man, we should have stuck to Unix?
It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And we already talked about operating systems. Window Manager, what do you use on macOS?
Oh, yeah, I use Aerospace, which is like, I used to use Yabai, and then there was another one. I don't remember his name, but yeah, I use Aerospace. But I use it in a very basic way because all my applications are full screen all the time. So when I switch between them, Aerospace takes care of them being open. Like even if I quit out of Arc and then open it, it's going to open full screen.
Okay.
And that's how I like using my, but if I like work on, let's say my website or something like that, and I want to open up DevTools, then I might use like
Split.
aerospace.
Like a,
yeah, split. Exactly.
now how do you do that? How do you manage it? Like, because, okay, I have a few questions here. Because I use Yabai in stack mode and basically the same way that you use it. Because I also believe that having more than one application on the screen is just going to distract you. That's why I don't use Tmux panes a lot, or Neovim splits, or windows, or however they're called, because I'm always focused on one, right? I cannot pay attention to two at the same time. How do you open another workspace in which you have a different config and you can have two apps, or how does that work with Aerospace?
Yes. So in aerospace, you define workspaces, I think they're called. Yeah. So I have like basically I have this bit of code that when Ghostty opens, it moves it to the I workspace, and then that makes sure that Ghostty is always there. And if I press Option I, it basically just moves to that workspace, and yeah, this Option I basically opens up Ghostty and moves it, and then the bit of code there moves it to the I workspace. So when I switch to it, it basically goes to the workspace that the application is open on. And since I always open it on the I workspace, it goes to, you can see it here, it goes to the I workspace.
Okay. So you have one application per workspace then, right?
Yeah, exactly. I also like having like a nice background. So I like to have the terminal be the only application in this workspace. But if I go to my calendar, it usually has like a bunch of applications stacked, but I don't really use that feature. I usually just go full screen.
Okay. I see. So on each workspace, you have a different config. And in some workspaces, sometimes you open more than one application at a time.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh, but you have to decide on which workspace each application is going to live. Isn't that a little bit more overhead? Like, why not use Yabai in stack mode, for example, right? Because you don't have to think about where each application lives. I just keep all of them in the same desktop. If I show you the apps that I have open here, if I bring up the macOS thingy, I hope I don't have anything that I shouldn't show there. No, I don't, it seems. But all of them are in the same desktop, right? So I don't move them to different desktops. I just switch between apps, basically, right? So why do you use Aerospace in that mode?
So it's basically two reasons. Like I have my terminal. I like to have like show the background of my desktop. So this is one stupid reason, and the other one is basically when I'm in my browser and open up like the developer tools, and then I like it to be side by side because you usually need to inspect. And if I had more applications opened in this workspace, it would show them, right? But if only my browser is in this workspace, I can easily go between full screen and tiled mode, and easily switch between it.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's not the most perfect solution because it leaves the browser pretty small, and also the DevTools are pretty small. They both need a lot of screen. Like if you go to the network tab and things start to get a little bit crammed, it's not the perfect solution, but yeah, I'm still looking for one if you know.
Yeah, I debate that a lot Because I don't know. Like, for example, right? If how would I do that? Let's see. So you just take this small window out of here into its own. How do I do that here? I have no idea. Like maybe here?
Here. Mm-hmm.
So I use this in macOS a lot, and I know it's not the best way. Why is my camera looking like this? This one, the keyboard one, it's not following my hands. It's unfocused. Should I move this? But I have a dedicated key, like, which is Command tilde, right? But in my keyboard, I have this key that I don't use for anything, basically. So I switch between the two instances of the same app. I don't do web dev, so I'm not sure how comfortable someone would be like going here, scrolling, and then coming here. Or if you need to have them side by side.
Yeah, you need to have them side by side because you usually inspect an element and then you click that little arrow in the top left corner and then you choose the element you want to inspect and you usually change some CSS stuff and want to see it immediately reflect. And Chrome DevTools have some kind of hotkeys, like they have Command-Shift-P, which I use a lot to open up this command palette, and then I could usually type network and go to network, but it's not. I wish there was a TUI for it. Then you would know the keybinds will be super comfortable. But yeah, I usually do tab and stuff like that and get where I want, but it's not perfect. Yeah. I still need to use my mouse to, pick whatever I want to inspect. Stuff like that.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I think the solution that I'm going to have to end up with is have two modes, basically, right? So Yabai, I will probably have to run a script, use Yabai in stack mode, but if I need to do that side-by-side thing, run another script that configures Yabai in a different mode, move stuff around. I don't know. I'll have to think about it when
you'll put a couple of hours into it. Yeah.
yeah. Couple of hours. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why did you move away from Yabai?
I think you needed to disable system integrity or something to have the moving between applications be instant because it uses spaces under the hood, like macOS spaces, and then it had that small delay. And I've watched Linux videos where people just switch instantly between applications, and yeah, I wanted that to be instant. And the way that Aerospace works, it basically just puts your applications at the bottom right corner. You can barely see them if you have more than one, but then it uses one workspace, one macOS space, and switching is instant. So yeah, it's the little things.
Yeah, I guess Yabai works for me because I don't use macOS desktops. I keep everything in the same space, but if I would have them in different desktops, I think probably would not work out quite well.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I want to try Aerospace. I want to install it. I want to do it live. Why so serious? He's a Discord user. He has to guide me through the process. We're going to do it live. I don't know when, next week or someday. If you want to join, would be great. So you can just share tips there as well. And single monitor. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think I have like something called hyperfocus where I can really if I focus on something, I'm really focused into it. And if there's some noise from the outside, I get totally thrown out of my focus. So that's the way I feel about multiple monitors. I basically, whenever I tried using two monitors, I've never looked at the other monitor, or I find myself looking at the other monitor for 30 minutes with my neck bent like that, and it would start hurting. Yeah, so basically I can only focus on one thing at a time. Otherwise, it's not working for me.
Yeah. And when you use the laptop by itself, I guess you want to keep the same workflow, right? Desk or laptop, and be as efficient just in the laptop, right?
Yeah, that's something that I need to work on still, but I do use the Mac keyboard without any like modifications. I can easily go between my Moonlander and my laptop. So if I go to like a coffee shop and work from there, I just use my laptop's keyboard. But if it's a longer session, and I know that I will get neck pain or hand pain, then I would use my full-blown setup. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I don't use layers in my keyboard. Because I could have a layer for the numbers, right? But I usually just unplug the computer and take it somewhere else and work there. And I want to have the same workflow, the exact same. I want to be as efficient, as on my desk, as on the laptop by itself. So I use the numbers, the traditional way. I use them in the laptop the same way. So I don't know. I'm kind of against layers in the keyboard because of that reason, but I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's not that hard to have to be accustomed to both at the same time. Like I'm used to just pressing Command 1 if I'm on my laptop, then I'm gonna press it one way. If I'm on my Moonlander, it just comes naturally. I don't know why it comes naturally, but it works for me. Yeah.
Yes. So you got used to the two already.
Yeah, I think there are programs like Vial, I think one is called, that allows you to modify any keyboard, like even your built-in Mac keyboard, and then you can have a Vial configuration on top of your Moonlander configuration, so it would work the same.
Yep.
I might check it out. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I want to do. If I create layers, I create them in software, in Carabiner. So I have them both in the Clavity and the Mac keyboard. I can use hyper sublayers in the Mac keyboard. So the workflow is the same, right? So if I type hyper A something on the Mac keyboard, it works because I do it in software. I don't do it in the hardware itself. And how do you feel when people send hello messages with the focus thing that you mentioned? Have you ever received messages that are just hello in Slack or any other tool and nothing else? How does that make you feel?
What do you mean? What?
Someone reaches out, and they just type hello, and that's it. And you're working on something.
I do that sometimes too. So
You do it?
I can't blame other people. If I usually do it, I do it like because I'm typing a lot of messages and press enter to send a bunch of stuff. I hate Slacks, like it's not Vim, so you can't go up a line and down a line and bold and select, and then you need to press shift and all those arrows. So it's a nightmare. So I usually just spam messages.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guess it's a cultural thing, right? There's people that just send you a message, hello, trying to be nice. But personally, to me, that's like, you got my attention now, and now why did you send me the message? Like,
just hello standalone is not okay.
Just hello.
Yeah,
nothing else. No. And 10 minutes, 30 minutes after, nothing else. And it's like,
it just slows down like the ping pong between you and the person. Yeah.
Okay. It's we've been here for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna let you go already.
Wow.
Is there times flies by. Pretty nice conversation, by the way. Do you want to talk about any of these that I have listed here? Do you want to talk terminal, keyboard?
AI. I guess I can talk about AI because I'm on the hater side. So yeah.
Everyone.
So I guess I can bring my hot take.
Yeah. Go on. Share us.
Yeah.
What do you think of AI?
I think it's a really big bubble because I think it has its use cases, but the tech community, like every other major technology, tries to jump on the bandwagon and integrate it even in use cases that aren't really are suited for AI. And I personally don't really use AI. I did try Copilot. I used it for a full year because GitHub gives maintainers for free. If you have like above a certain amount of stars, they give you a subscription for free. So I used it, and I found that it introduced bugs that it was really hard for me to find because it's not code I wrote, and like in a high level glance, it looked okay. But then I'm like, God damn it, Copilot, why why didn't I see it? Like it took me 2 hours to debug. And also I think it robs you from learning. You basically are less engaged with your code, and you're less engaged. You just basically, I think it lets you pump out a lot of code pretty fast, but you do it without actually gaining something from it. Or I see coding more like a craft. So I guess, yeah, it's my personal opinion, but yeah.
And do you use AI or not at all?
No, I'm pretty harsh about AI. Yeah, ask my friends and family. My wife says I'm radicalizing her against AI, and people at work will laugh at her, stuff like that, because she sometimes blurts out my opinions about AI, and everyone around her are using AI pretty extensively. So it's kind of being a non-conformist to say something bad about AI, but I'm sticking to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And do you think there are use cases? When do you think AI could be used by someone, or never? People should never use AI. Is that your take? Like, no one should use AI ever?
No, I don't think I can say that. I'm not someone say something so like black and white. I myself don't see a use case for me, but I guess people use the computer differently. But yeah, I personally won't use it for anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess it excels at like side projects and hobby stuff that you just need to pump out a bunch of code and build out an MVP. I guess it's really good at that. But anything remotely serious is not.
For prototyping stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To come up with something quick that you need to show off, but you don't really care about, right? Yep. And the thing is that you cannot trust everything that it says, right? Because it's just gonna come up with really dumb ideas, and it's just gonna think it's right, and it's just it's hard.
I guess even people use it without really understanding how it works. So like a colleague of mine searched for an issue she had, like the containers logs showed an error or something like that, and she asked ChatGPT about it, and then she didn't find anything. And I looked at Google and found an issue, a GitHub issue that a human wrote, and that was published a couple of months ago. So it's stuff you won't gonna find on these LLMs because they're not trained on data that was so recently written.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's something about having it written by a human gives you a lot more trust in what it wrote. It's not predicting the next word. It's actually understands the issue and had the same issue and frustration that you had, and he opened an issue about it, and
and went through the whole process and completely understands. And yeah, you identify with that, you understand the solution. I have found a lot of issues that way as well, because at the beginning I used to ask ChatGPT, right? And a few times it just made stuff up, and it made me look like a fool, like the what is this movie called? Nacho Libre. Let me show it to you. Hold on. Where's my screen?
Nacho Libre, is that like a international movie?
Yep. It's with Jack Black. Where is it?
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Oh no, I'm gonna watch it.
It's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, looks good.
But yeah, didn't make me look like a fool. But suggest stuff that if you don't know what you're doing, you could suggest to someone else, and it's just nonsense. So I don't trust it anymore. If I need to search for something, I don't use ChatGPT. I just go to Google because I usually find the answer in a GitHub issue or Stack Overflow. I don't know what's gonna happen with Stack Overflow.
Oh yeah, GitHub issues are so underrated. Like, I usually go straight to GitHub and then search for free text and then go to the issues tab, and I usually find a solution there. And I find that like ChatGPT and stuff like that are good when you know what you're talking about, so you can verify what the LLM is saying. If it's something that you don't understand at all, I think you can't verify what it's saying, so you probably just accept stuff that are wrong.
Yep. And one question in gh-dash, can you search for GitHub repos and all that stuff?
No, you can't search for repos, but you can just search for issues. Like if you just
can I switch to your screen?
Yeah. If you just search for Docker error or something like that, it's gonna search through all the repos, but you can always add like Docker, I think it's the repo or something like that. No, but you can always write up the repo that you're looking for and search for that. Yeah.
So the horrible experience that you get when you go to GitHub and try to search for something, if I don't want to go to the browser, I could search for stuff in here. Let's say that I want to just search in forks, right? So I could, as long as I know the query, I can paste it in here and it's going to find it. Can you save your queries or something?
Yeah, so these sections are saved queries, but you can, there's like a special tab here, the search tab that keeps your last search. Like you can use it to search, and then it won't affect your other tabs, your other search queries. And you can always, if you use this query a lot, you can always like put it in your gh-config file, and it would be saved.
So you can add in your config file, your JSON file.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't remember, like, to search only in forks is a specific, parameters that you need to pass. I don't remember those all the time. And it's like, man, I hate this because I have to go and search in the documentation. So if I could search if I could save those in my config file, that would be awesome. How do you save them?
Yeah, exactly. So you basically, for PRs, you define PR sections, and then for each section you define a filter. This is my filter because I have one PR in for VS Code that Microsoft never reviewed, so it's just open there forever. So I filter it out.
Okay.
But yeah, if I want to look at like repos that are interesting to me, I don't want to type them over and over again. I just save them here, and then I can take a look. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. And last question, and I'll let you go. HomeLab, because you like tweaking a lot, it seems. Have you played with HomeLabs, or are you planning to?
Yeah, I really want to get into it because of all the subscriptions, which got crazy. So in order to watch like some of the more popular shows, you need to have like Apple and Disney Plus and Amazon. You need to pay for, like, it's become really aggressive. You need to pay a ton of money just to watch your favorite shows. If it's one show from Apple, you need to do a subscription to Apple.
Yeah, it sucks.
And it's really a money grab. So if I were to start a home lab, it's going to be mainly for watching stuff. I know a lot of people do crazy things with home labs, but I haven't really dug into it. There are probably a lot of great use cases for it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Interesting. All right. So Dolev, really appreciate your time. It's been 2 hours. Thanks for sharing all of the stuff. Your setup, loved it. Was wonderful. Anything you want to share before we wrap it up?
No, yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation as well. I'm gonna steal some of your stuff as well. Now that you've explained how those layers work, looks awesome. And yeah, it was a great time.
Yep. And if you ever have questions, just let me know on Discord and we can go live or something and I can just show you stuff around, or we don't even have to go live. You know, we can just have a session and show
the
stuff.
Discord community is awesome. So
yeah. Okay. Thanks for your time. See you.
Cool, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.